Good afternoon, everyone. This is Nate G. It is Friday, June 12th. We've had a pretty serious pull in the market yesterday, putting in a potential pip below, and then we've had quite a nice bounce today, back up almost a complete recovery of the loss, um, and thought that now might be a time to go in and go through SAM and some other scanners and see if we can't find some setups to add to our watch list and start marking up. And essentially, I'm going to start here on SAM with S&P, and then I'll look at the Nasdaq, and then I'll kind of check out some of our private watch lists. I have to update my private watch list here, but we're going to see if we can find something to mark up and set a trade plan on. So I'm going to move this off my screen, but here's what I'm looking for those of you who are kind of new. I've sorted by S squeezes up, right? And this has, CPB has 5 squeezes, CEG has 4 squeezes, et cetera, et cetera. And I'm looking for nested squeezes, usually of like 3. Occasionally I'll look at a 2, but I love when I see a 3 A plus nested squeeze, as long as it fits the other parameters of our TPS pattern. Then it's definitely something I want to look at, and that's exactly what SAM does. So what I'm going to do is pull this off my screen, and we're just going to start looking at charts that have that, so you can kind of follow along, if you have SAM, on how I'm doing that. So first one we're going to look at is CPB. And let's get this on like a 78-minute chart. Oh, this is one Nate was looking at earlier. Goes all the way out to a 195. What does that daily look like? I really don't love that daily chart, frankly. So I'm going to skip that one. There's no real trend in place. FCX is another one. Let me pull this out so I can still see chat. FCX is interesting. Probably looking at FCX on what, like a 78? That's pretty interesting. Clear top there. It's got some traffic to get through up here. So I'm actually just gonna move on from that, right? PGR. Look at that on a daily. Ooh, all right. Progressive. This is kind of an interesting chart, so I'm gonna write that one down. I'm coming back to that one. PGR on. It's really the daily. Oh, we have earnings. When are earnings? Earnings just happened, yeah? Yesterday. How come we don't have any values in here? Or is earnings today? No? That's interesting. Does anybody know what's going on there? We don't have any values here. They have the estimates, but they don't have the Q2 earnings. Next earnings report is yesterday. Okay. Well, at least we're not going to get caught into earnings. So we're going to keep that one, PGR, on the daily. I feel like I'm missing snipers here on the SPX as I'm going through. Let's see. Oh yeah, I did just miss a good sniper. So on the 2-minute chart here on the SPX, yep, that would have been a great sniper right there. No mind. There are plenty more where that came from. NRG, I know Nate was looking at this one as well. Yeah, we can mark that one up. NRG, he probably did already, but it won't hurt. Let's see. CEG. Did we look at that one? Sometimes they move around a little bit. CEG is pretty interesting. Let's look at that one. These are all dailies. That means we'll have to go pretty far out. Let's see here. ELV. I don't love it. APTV. Nope. Don't like that one at all. Don't care for it. Okay. WMB into earnings, maybe. I don't know if that's going to come back, but we'll take a look at that. WMB. That's on the daily. Man, a lot on the daily. Yeah, this is Nate G. It's not Nate Bear. I've been in and out for the last 2 weeks. So if you're new, this might be the first time you hear my voice. If that is the case, welcome, welcome. The indicator on the SPX chart here is the sniper setup indicator. And it's to help catch turns in I use it for the SPX, but in anything it helps detect pivot points and then continuation trends. This down here is the ready aim fire indicator, and that is a paid indicator from Simpler Trading. Yeah, I have a ton of videos on that on YouTube, and I can actually probably just link to one since I have that up at the moment. Here is the difference between Sniper 1.0 style trading and here, I'll put it in here. And 2.0. There you go. Yeah, that would have been a nice little sniper bounce there. Potentially a 2.0 rollover here. The first one we would have had all day as this thing sort of flattened out. And we got to change a character break. That also would have been a nice 2.0 trade, but I think I was on the mic when that happened, and somebody goes, "What just happened to the SPX?" So the only problem with the Sniper 1.0 and 2.0 is you pretty much just have to be, if you want to catch a few of them a day, you really just got to stare at the chart all day. So it makes it hard. Like a lot of times I'll come on the mic and then a sniper will be in process. And it's like, well, I either miss that or I'm trying to take it on the mic and then I'm preoccupied and not teaching. So, all right, let's continue with our scan here. Where did I see? I like BG, I think. No, I do not like BG. Let's see. Looking for some more here. BAC. Yikes. Oh, that's BOC. Wow, I'd like to short that. Huh. BAC. Ooh. Man, that's nice and strong. It's probably only got like maybe a 10 minute. Yikes. Yeah, that one's going to be hard to get into. Nice, Steve. Did you get a sniper trade there? SoCal, yeah, I can share my chart. You mean this chart? It will share all these indicators up here on the top. Excuse me. It will not share this indicator here on the bottom because it is a paid indicator. But you will get both the RSI, not that. I mean, you'll get that because that's also free. You'll get RSI and you'll get MACD, which you can accomplish the same thing. Looking for an oversold here, and then we're looking for a MACD cross. Those will give you some of the same signals. All right, so I'll share that. That's the sniper setup in TradingView. So like I said, it won't give you this paid indicator, but it'll give you everything else. And frankly, on the 2.0s, I don't. This indicator isn't even being used down here. And I tend to do a few more 2.0s than I do 1.0s. And I've tried many ways to kind of alert them in the room, but it's so hard when I'm not sitting at the trading console all day. Because they happen real fast, and you have to have that's not what I was looking for. You have to have a tight stop tolerance and good discipline. Because when they don't work, you got to get out. Because if you're playing the SPX and it goes against you, they can rip your face off pretty quick. VRT. I think this is a Nate Bear trade, right? Oh, maybe not. Looks like I did mark this one up. Why isn't it over here? Huh. Yeah, this one is pretty interesting. I could definitely see a shot, taking a shot down here off of 87.95 maybe. The only issue I have here is we have earnings coming up on the 24th. So we would want to play, I would think, we would want to play the, oh, I gotta get my other, I got too many windows open. I would want to play the, let's see, VRT. You have to go out to the 26th to catch that earnings IV push, which isn't bad. You're on a daily that's out 14 days. The spreads are almost $1, but I mean the 88s are 30 cents. So July 26th, you could. I kind of do like, so the only issue here is having a clear stop level is going to be somewhat hard because you see how these things have just sort of wicked through, but never closed below this level. So I would probably say, I'd probably put a stop right around 86.66, and that would be a daily close below that level. And you can see this one would have been a tough day to sit through because these are daily candles, and you got ripped way down, but it immediately recovered right back up, right? But if you're risking off of, let's say, this VP level here, or even off your actual stop level, your risk reward is still pretty good. So the prior markup was back there. So if we come down into that VP level, you're still looking at what does that look like? That's a 16 to 1 risk reward, but I don't know, maybe in 3 weeks or 14 days you can get up that high. Is it really 14 days away? June 24th, yeah. Oh, so it's not completely 14 days away. It's more like, because you're playing 14-day expirations, but you're playing it more like a 12-day. So it's 12 days away. But I like that one. Yeah, see what happens with it today. Is Nate in this right now? Is VRT a Mr. Bear trade? I do like it. I do like it. You just have to be nice and disciplined. But if I were playing this, it would be the July 26th. And I would be playing because of 88s or 89s are fine. Either one. Yeah, maybe he's not in it yet. Maybe it's just he's been eyeballing it. I haven't been paying that much attention to it. Yeah, but maybe he's just been eyeballing it. Okay, let's continue searching for a couple of setups, and then so on VRT, the trade plan would be, I'd like to see that come down if it's going to get here to about 87.68, and if it does, we're pretty close now. Yeah, I could make a case for just trying to pick it up here, knowing that I'm playing 3 weeks out, and risk reward to pick up right here would be, roughly a 7 to 1 if I was disciplined in my stop. But realistically, if I'm waiting for a daily to close below this, I'm probably looking at, if it were to go against me, I'm probably looking at more like a 4 to 1 risk reward, which is still fine. But if you got to wait for a daily candle to close before you stop out and this thing really flushes, you're going to be well below your stop. Okay, let's look at the NASDAQ here. We did CEG. Trying to look, there's not a lot of other squeezes. And the problem with what happened yesterday and today is, a lot of squeezes have blown up, right? They've either fired short or fired long, depending on what index they're in, what part of the market they're in. Let's see, Uber. Interesting. Yeah, there's just not a lot out there at the moment. What would this be on? Nah, I don't like that one either. I could make a case for shorting Uber from here. On a short term, it's playing. See, that's the case would be, it's come up into resistance, right? And maybe it rejects there and comes back down into, support here. Or maybe it just pushes right through. Who knows? Does it have a smaller time frame thing on it? No, it doesn't look like it. Okay. So then let's go back and do PGR. And we'll mark that one up. I liked that. What, on the daily? Is that right? Yeah. That one's not too bad. And then NGR. Okay, let's mark this one up first. Let's go. We kind of look like we have a trend line forming here. We've got a point of control happening right here. Let's go to, I just want to look and make sure that options are okay. This is a daily. Might have to play 35 days out. You could buy the 220s. Decent spread there, 30 cents. Okay, so PGR, remember we were looking at this. Thank you, Joan. It says they moved it to Tuesday even though, yeah, that's why there's no data here, right? Even though it says it should have been yesterday. Later, Sharky. Okay, so earnings is, where did you find that? FinViz or something? Earnings Whisper. Okay, good. Thank you. So we're going to stay away from PGR. But you can see it's got some very clear levels here, right? There, that's where you'd put your value area low. And we can mark this up for post earnings trade as well, right? If we want. You know, we've kind of got a value area high going there. Point of control. Right? Maybe a secondary point of control. So we've got a few levels there, and where we'd like to pick that up is down here, 203.14. Right? That would be a preferred area in which to maybe pick this up. And because it has because we're waiting one for those earnings to go, but then because it only has monthly off expirations, you know, I would say, you know, I'd want to look at the 220s. I don't know why I did that backwards. For 8.16. That's what I'd be looking at. But again, we're up here at resistance, so I'd be looking for this to work its way back into here or here as a pickup potentially. So we wouldn't be putting one on today. All right, so then the next one would be, so let's put this on here, AGR. Okay, that's on the list. And the next one is NRG. Let's make sure we've got, and I know Nate was looking at this one. NRG is also monthlies. So August 7th, so we would also be playing the August 16th. So I'm going to put a value area low in there. I'm going to put, there's not a real clear value area high, but we do have a point of control right here. Whoops. At 80.18, right? And then we can even kind of draw, you know, a flag pattern there. And I would say we could put a high, a touch of the high there as target number 1. And on top of that, did Nate pick this up today? It's a pretty decent spot. Is there any current trades open in NRG? I think he did, right? Swing trade, NRG. He bought the 618s. He bought the 80s. Yep, that makes a lot of sense to me. A plus. So this is a current trade that Nate's in. Okay. I was not aware of that other than just kind of recognizing the name from earlier today. But now we've come in here and marked this up, right? So we could put some targets in here, some green line 1, 2, and 3. Okay, it's at this point of control level, probably picked it up closer to that point of control level than it is now. Let's find out what our risk reward is on that. Okay, so if we're taking it from point of control and then we're shooting up to target number 1, that's a 3-to-1 risk reward. All right. So I would argue for anyone that follows trades, in here, is to do what we just did right here. Also understanding that on the 7th is earnings. So most likely, well, not most likely, when I trade like this and when Nate trades like this, we do not hold through earnings. We try and capture the ramp up into earnings. Okay, so I'm not holding past the 7th, right? I'd probably come in here and just so I could see it on the chart and not get surprised by it. I might even put in an alarm if, oh, that's not what I wanted to do, on my phone that would remind me, on the 5th or 6th that I'm not holding through earnings. I know what my risk reward is. I know what my target 1, 2, and 3 is, depending on how many contracts I'm taking, right? And I know, most importantly, where my stop level is. To me, this trade breaks down if it gets below this because it's coming, at the very least, all the way down to here. Yeah, on these TPS trades, we do not typically, or do not ever, unless there's a very rare case for it, hold through in earnings. Okay, so there you go. That's NRG, marked up and ready to go. Yeah, always, Richard. I post these on YouTube when I'm done. Okay, so that's one Nate's in already. Make sure you know when earnings is. Make sure you know what your targets are, what your stops are, what your risk is, right? Now there's no excuses to be like, oh, I am still in that. I'm holding. What should I do? Right? You have a plan, right? You're playing. I mean, this is Nate's plan, and I don't know that his stop is below this, right? That's where I would put my stop. I know if we're playing this chart on the daily, that's where the chart breaks down, right? So when you mark these up, you'll be able to tell if the squeeze is still valid, right? If the chart is still working. What we're looking to see is for this to break up above this trend line. It's probably going to come back and retest it before it kind of moves up into there. That's the pattern that it's probably going to make if it goes. If it breaks down, that's a different story. If it breaks down, it probably goes like this, retests that level, and goes further. Okay, so that was NRG. Let's look at CEG. We'll make CEG is also, these are all kind of similar in the way they look and in the way they're setting up. And, they're all energy companies, so they're going to have a similar pattern. This one is a little different. I'm going to come and put a value area low down here at 198.70, which is a long way from where we are right now. And then our point of control is going to be there. So this one's a little bit more difficult, right? An entry today on the dip would have been a beaut, but we didn't do that. So we've kind of got a value area high here. Okay, so then when we look at this on a smaller time frame, right? So you can see this entry here today would have been a great one on that dip, but you would have had to have this marked up. So as I zoom out, there's our point of control level. There's a lot of traffic right through here. I mean, this is a huge chunk of EP, like right through here. But we came into the lower side of that, and that would have been a great entry spot for this continued push. But it's also up against resistance here, and it hasn't broken through. So I'm not really sure what's going to happen there. But, you know, if this rejects this trend line and value area high level, you know, if we kind of reject here, I'm going to set an alert down here at like 200 or 201. If this thing can come give us a pull back into that level before it goes, man, what a great trade that would be. Right? So I put an alert in here at about 201.70. And I'm kind of looking for a move down into that. And then I'm going to take this point of control, and it's not the true point of control, but it's a level I would consider taking a long trade on this down to about 209. What do I got? 62. So I'm going to add an alert there as well, because if we can kind of get a pull into that and it wants to hold this sort of, it's a value area low for this node here, right there, then I think we could come into that level and then maybe push up above here, do that, and then do that. So then targets for me would be kind of touch of that high. We'll make that one green so that it's marked up. And then I'm going to measure the Fibonacci extension, 1272. So my other target would be right up there at 246.91. Those would be my two target levels. But I want to make sure the reason I'm not putting it on here is because if my stop is down here and my profit target is here, I'm less than a 1-to-1, right? I could move my stop to here if I wanted to, and I wanted to make that a little closer to 2-to-1, but then I'd be stopping out and this chart still wouldn't be broken. I don't know. I hope that makes sense. So it's up here at resistance. I'm not going to try and pick it up here. That's not where I want it. I would rather get it off of that red level that I put in there at a 2.5-to-1. This is CEG. So that's another possibility. And then the last one was WMB. These are all dailies, so I'd be going out 3 weeks at least. WMB, what does that look like from a WMB? That one's got weeklies, decent spreads. Earnings on the 31st. So we could go 21 days out. I mean, that's definitely in an uptrend, is it not? Yeah, so this would be the August 2nd. This thing might be on its way out of here. It might be, we might be missing this one, which is okay. So value area, let's get a little closer to that. Let's see. Let's do that. Get into the 5-minute there. Move this up a little bit to maybe there. Here's our point of control here. Actually, I'm going to move this down maybe to here. So again, this isn't a spot I want to pick up because we're right at our resistance levels, right? I'd much rather pick it up down here. So I'm going to add an alert down there, right? This might just push without me. It's totally fine. But I don't want to buy it here. I don't have an edge, right? If this thing starts to pull, this pattern is not broken, but I have to sit through, at this level, a whole dollar worth of loss. And depending on how many contracts I'm taking, that might be more than I'm willing to risk. And then if I take my Fibonacci's, I'm looking at 43.56. I'd choose that for target 1 because we're kind of flat right now in terms of the pattern. And then I'd choose 44 for my target number 2. So I'd like an entry right here if I can get it, if we can come down into that level. In fact, what I would do is I'd draw more of a block. I'd be looking for a pivot in that area there for an entry. And in this one, I would be playing the August 2nds just because they have earnings coming up. You can pick up the 42. Oh, that's pretty spready. Man, those get spready. Maybe I wouldn't pick up the August 2nds because of the weird spreadiness. That's a technical word, spreadiness. Yeah, I don't like how spready those kind of get. They're really weird for whatever reason. I actually like the 26s better, July 26s. I would probably pick up the 42s. Right, so these would be, I would probably pick up, if we got a little bit of a pullback, $42 calls for 726. And my risk would be below that 42, what is that, basically 42 level. Any questions there? Nothing? Okay, well, I think that's going to about cover it for me. And I'm going to jump off because I know Mr. Bear is probably going to be coming back on here pretty soon. But we got, what, five things marked up? Perfect timing, Nate. I was just getting ready to jump off and said you're on your way back soon. We marked up a bunch of dailies today. That's all right, man. That's why I'm on. You go take a break, but you can see here we did WMB here on the daily. That's got a nice trend. It's not a great time to pick it up. We marked that one up. We did PGR. Also not a great time to pick that up. That one has earnings in 2 days, even though it says it had earnings yesterday here on TradingView. So we're going to wait and see how that reacts to earnings. But that's a nice chart. We marked up your energy, right, which is a great chart, but figured stop levels, targets, and risk reward. We marked up CEG. It's not ready. There's not an entry here, but we know where we'd like an entry, and then yeah, WMB. What was the one we were doing when we first What was it? VRT. Kind of coming into a potentially good pickup spot here with a play into the July 24th earnings. Yeah, several nights. Most of them on the daily though. There's not a lot because of what happened yesterday and today. There's not a lot of 30-minute, 78-minute charts that are still intact. So a couple of dailies that we can look at until the market figure out what it wants to do. But I was saying, we put in that Pitbull low yesterday. We're probably just going to range in here for a while. I mean, we may come out of that range, but we'll come back to it over the course of the next week, I think. All right, y'all. That is it for me. I will see you all on Monday. I hope you have a great weekend.